Hey everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me here today. We're going to be doing some Bible journaling using the Hives and Homes collection, which is for November from Creative Retreat Kits. And I'm here in my pocket Bible. This is a new Bible for me. I got it from a Bible journaling retreat, and I just love this format. It's small and it's portable, and it has a separate page between the text. It is just a New Testament, and I'm going to be doing some mixed media in here. I'm just diving right in. So I am tearing some paper swatches from the patterned paper, and these are just strips that I'm tearing. These are from the Faith-Filled Digitals that match this collection, and I'm going to be gluing these down. I'm going to start with 4 different strips of paper, and I kept one of the edges straight so that that will go in the gutter. And I'm using some clear gesso to apply first to my page. That'll give something for the paper to grab onto, and then I'll come back out afterwards with another layer of that on the top of my papers. So in between each strip, I put some more of that gesso down. Gesso is like a primer. It also does work if you want to do some paper piecing like this. I use this for napkin techniques, for adhering things like this, but I do have to go back over it. Now I'm just straightening out on the back some of the wrinkles that came in, and I'm going to apply another layer of the gesso. You saw that, and I do dry in between my layers. Here's the second layer. Now the paper does get a little warped and wonky and wrinkled, but that is okay because I'm going for the mixed media look. I like the texture. Now I'm going to come over it with some acrylic paint, and I don't have a perfect blue to match, so I'm trying to darken it up some with some gray. It's a little too bright for what I want, but oh well, I'm going to go with it. I wanted it to be a little bit navier. The blue is Midnight Blue from Target, some of the acrylic paints, and then I added some gray, just the American Crafts acrylic paint. And then I'm wiping some of that off with the clear baby wipe. I got some on the gutter of my opposite page, so I just go with it, and I give the whole page a border by just wiping it with a baby wipe. I'm going to add a little bit more of that gray there to tone it down a bit. Now, normally, if I were doing this paper piecing, I'd go over it with some white acrylic paint, and that looks really cool, but I wanted a darker background because I'm going to do this stenciling and also some stamping on it. Now this is the honeycomb stencil that is an add-on with the kit. You can purchase it a la carte separately, and I'm using some paint. I added a little bit of white to the dark paint there, and I am not really good stenciling with paint. It becomes messy for me, but that's okay for this purpose. I bring in just a dry embosser, anything with a sharp tip that I can kind of clean up those edges. Now this is my favorite part. I get one of the stamps from the stamp set, the B, and I'm using the Unicorn pigment ink, and that it pops out off of the darker background. And then once I'm done, I stamp 3 of them on the right side, and then just a few more over on the left, and I do pick up that paint with a paintbrush and just apply that directly to my stamp. Now I'm coming in with a white gel pen, and I'm adding some detailing, little flight marks for the bee. This is a 10 point of the gel pen, and that really makes a difference. Now I'm just going to come in and add some more details. This is one of the flower stamps from the stamp set of the Faith Art Box, and this color is Harvest Gold, but it does not appear very dark. You can't see it, or very light. You can't see it against that blue too well, but it does give a little bit of added texture to it, which is fine with me. I pick up some of that with a wet aqua brush on my acrylic block, and then I highlight my verse. Now this is the droplet stencil from a few months ago, and I believe it's still available. I will link all of the products that I use. And I wanted to add a little bit more texture and interest, visual interest to my page. So I'm coming in, the Harvest Gold doesn't show up well enough here, so I'm coming in with some copper metallic paint, and that gives it some shimmer, and that's just what I was going for. And I add that in 3 corners, well, 3 points, and I'm kind of crossing the page. You can see on the left page where the stencil, that was just from the back side of my stencil, and that was an accident, but I really like the way that turned out. Now I'm just going to clean up this page. I'm going to trim off those edges. I do dry with my heat tool, but I cut that out of the video so you didn't have to see that. But I do dry with each layer. And I'm going to trim this, and now it really comes together. Well, let me go back to what I'm journaling. This is Colossians 3:23, and I'm going to write my prayer on this journaling card. I've trimmed it down, and I'm roughing up the edges with the edge of my scissors. And I'm going to come in now with my title using the alpha stickers. So this is Colossians 3:23. Which reads, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." And then it goes on in 24, "Since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving." This passage is actually spoken to slaves. It's talking about Christian behavior and how husbands and wives should respond to each other. And this particular verse and paragraph is talking to slaves and servants and how they should obey their masters, and whatever they're called to do, whatever they're tasked to do it with all their heart, and to remember that they're doing it for the Lord, not for their earthly master. Now, slavery, I can't get into all of that. Slavery in biblical times, sometimes it was just servanthood. Sometimes it was actually the enslaved. And we don't know what the situation is here. But what we do know is that God has called all of us in whatever task to work for Him. That whatever we're called to do, whether it's the laundry, whether it's the cooking and the cleaning, whether it's our job and we're just not happy in our job, it's a dead-end job, or it's a great job. Maybe it's just staying at home. Maybe whatever situation God has called you to, do it for Him. Have that focus, have that attitude. And then if the situation needs to change, He'll work that out. But it's up to Him. It's leaving it up to Him. And I really like how this coordinated with the devotional content for this month, which is in Jeremiah 29, and it talks about the same thing, even though the Israelites were in Babylonian captivity, but God calls them to grow where they are planted, to thrive, to build, to multiply, and to do it for the Lord. So my title here is "With All My Heart," because that's what I want to take from it, that whatever I'm doing, do it with all my heart. And that's kind of why I went with this mixed media approach. I just dove right in and I put all kinds of stuff into it. It's got stickers, it's got stamps, it's got paper, it's got washi, it's got acrylic paint, it's got paper piecing, it's got a little bit of everything. And that just makes it fun for me, and it really went with the whole theme. So I'm taking that journaling card. I've added some of the washi from the kit in a few various places to anchor or to fill in some spots, and adding a couple of the decor stickers, the wonky hearts, to that tab that I punched out. And now I'm going to outline my elements. I used a slick writer pen to outline on the acrylic paint because that works really well over there. When you have any kind of paint or a slick surface, it just works really well. So I add my journaling to this card and I underline that, and I'm going to mark off the verse, which you'll see off screen. I stamp my date, and I decide to remove a little bit of that washi tape over there on the left because I have it up in the top right, no, the top left with my journaling card. I do add a clip with the flare piece, and here's some still shots of my page and some close-ups. I really like how this turned out. If you have any comments or questions about this kit, about these products, about this collection, or this project, then leave them in the comment section. Check the links that I've provided and come back and see me next time. Thanks so much. God bless. Bye-bye.